right, 6:30. Oh, we lost somebody here. Where's Jennifer? Jennifer. Huh? Principal's calling you to the office. All right. It's 6:31. We'll get started with the invocation. Miss Bonnie's going to do that for us. All right.
Lord, we love you. We come before you today in humility and faith. We thank you for all you have given us and the many blessings in our lives. We ask for your guidance and strength as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of our community. Give us the patience and understanding to face life's challenges with grace. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, calling the meeting to order, 6:31. All right, would you give me a roll call?
Yes, Ms. Enlow,
Here.
Mr. Whitaker,
Here.
Ms. Mendez.
Here.
Faith is out. Mr. Hibbard.
Here.
All right, just
Ms.
for
Mangus.
Here.
I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. Ms. Paula. Just, if you will, just, Faith has some family emergency she has to take care of, so just keep her in your prayers, so I want to make sure you all are aware of that. All right, with that said, all right, we have the second readings on the repeal of all three groups. So I want to make sure Ms. Catherine Dozier will start with the first one here.
Mayor,
Yes,
if I might, a
Yeah.
point before you start that.
yeah,
I was under the impression that at the last meeting, we tabled all of this until next Monday, and that we scheduled a special meeting tonight to discuss just the changes.
No, we
and
scheduled-
not have a vote.
no. no.
Okay, so-
We tabled this and the pay scale and job descriptions, just so you know.
Okay.
Okay,
That's your,
all right.
that's fine?
Come here. You want Ms. Dozier?
Okay. Summary of ordinance 023-001. This ordinance repeals in its entirety ordinance 019-299, passed on September 19th, 2019, relating to the personnel and pay rate classification plan for city employees and non-elected city officers.
All right, on that one, I need a motion to approve.
Motion.
Motion by Jennifer.
A second.
Second.
A second.
Ms. Paula, all right. We'll do a roll call, please.
Sure. Mr. Hibbard,
No.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Ms. Mendez,
Yes.
Ms. Mangus,
Yes.
Ms. Enlow.
Yes.
All right. We have 4-1 to approve. All right. Ms. Dozier, would you read the second ordinance here, 023-002?
Yes, summary of ordinance 023-002. This ordinance repeals in its entirety ordinance 022-037, passed on March 14th, 2022, relating to the personnel and pay rate classification plan for city employees and non-elected city officers.
All right. I need a motion on this, please.
Motion.
Jennifer, second.
I'll second.
All right, Brad. All right. Would you have a roll call from Ms. Brenda?
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Ms. Enlow,
Yes.
Ms. Mendez,
Yes.
Mr. Hibbard,
No.
Ms. Mangus,
Yes.
Ms. Mendez.
Oh, you called mine
I
yes.
did
Yeah.
do that. I
Yes.
didn't write it down,
No?
did I?
All right. You got everybody?
Okay,
All
I
right,
do.
therefore we'll carry on that. All right. And then, Ms. Dozier, you will read 023-003, please.
Summary of ordinance 023-003. This ordinance repeals in its entirety ordinance 022-047, passed on March 28th, 2022, relating to the personnel and pay rate classification plan for city employees and non-elected city officers.
All right, I need a motion to approve this one.
I make a motion.
All right, Ms. Paula, second, please.
Second.
All right, Ms. Jennifer. All right,
Alrighty. Ms. Enlow,
Yes.
Ms. Mangus,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Hibbard,
No.
Ms. Mendez.
Yes.
all right, we have another 4-1 carry on that. All right. Thank you all for that. All right, and for the next part of this meeting, we have our next reading, the first reading of ordinance 023004. Read that for us.
This is an ordinance amending ordinance 019-283 of the city of Shepherdsville related to personnel and pay rate classification plan for city employees and non-elected city officers for the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky. Summary, section 1 sets forth that ordinance 019-283 is amended as follows. Section 2 sets forth that section 2 is amended as follows. To reflect the job title of Assistant Finance Director instead of Treasurer, Finance Director instead of City Controller, Human Resources Director instead of Human Resources Manager, Office Clerk 1 instead of Office Clerk, and the change in the minimum and maximum pay for each position. To reflect the beginning pay rate increase for the administrative positions of City Clerk, Deputy City Clerk, Assistant Finance Director, and Code Enforcement Officer. To reflect the change from full-time to part-time of the administrative position of Community Planning and Development, and the change in the minimum and maximum pay. To reflect the minimum pay rate for $3,000 a year for the administrative position of Alcoholic Beverage Administrator, and to reflect the addition of the administrative positions of Accounting Clerk 1, Accounting Clerk 2, Parks and Recreation Administrator, and the beginning and maximum pay rates for these positions. Section 3 sets forth that Section 3 is amended as follows. To reflect the elimination of the Public Works positions of Maintenance Worker and Seasonal Maintenance Worker, and to reflect the addition of the Public Works positions of Public Works Maintenance Levels 1, 2, and 3, and Public Works Maintenance Probationary/Seasonal, and the beginning and maximum pay for these positions. Section 4 sets forth that Section 5 is amended as follows. To reflect the job title of Operations Manager instead of Superintendent, City Engineer instead of Engineer, and Assistant Engineer instead of Engineering Technician. To reflect the changes in beginning and maximum pay for the wastewater treatment plant positions of Operations Manager, City Engineer, and Assistant Engineer, and to reflect the addition of the wastewater treatment plant positions of Project Engineer part-time, Engineering Intern, Wastewater Foreman, Assistant Wastewater Foreman, Wastewater Clerk, Wastewater/Collection Technician Levels 1, 2, and 3, and Wastewater/Collection Technician Level 1 part-time, and the beginning and maximum pay for these positions. Section 5 sets forth that Section 7 is amended to reflect the incorporation of Resolution 22-13 regarding premium pay of $13 an hour added for all eligible employees. Section 6 sets forth that Section 9 is amended as follows. To reflect changes to the job objective, job functions, qualifications, skills, and education requirements of the administrative position of City Clerk, and to reflect the addition of the administrative position of Parks and Recreation Administrator and the job objective, job function, reporting responsibility, and education requirements of the position. Section 7 sets forth that Section 10 is amended to reflect the changes to the job functions, skills, and education requirements of the administrative position of Deputy City Clerk. Section 8 sets forth that Section 11 is amended as follows to reflect the changes to the job objective, functions, education requirements, and qualifications of the administrative position of Assistant Finance Director, and to reflect the addition of the administrative positions of Accounting Clerk 1 and Accounting Clerk 2, and the job objective, job functions, education requirements, and reporting responsibility of those positions. Section 9 sets forth that Section 12 is amended to reflect the changes to the job functions, skills, and education requirements of the administrative position of Finance Director. Section 10 sets forth that Section 14 is amended to reflect the changes to the job functions, skills, and education requirement of the administrative position of Code Enforcement Officer. Section 11 sets forth that Section 15 is amended to reflect the changes to the job functions of the administrative position of Community Planning and Development Coordinator. Section 12 sets forth that Section 17 is amended to reflect the changes to the job functions and education requirements of the administrative position of Human Resources Director. Section 13 sets forth that Section 19 is amended as follows. To reflect the addition of the Public Works positions of Public Works Director and Public Works Administrative Assistant and the job objective, job functions, education requirements, and other requirements of these positions, and to reflect the changes to the job objective, job functions, educational requirements, and other requirements of the Public Works position of Public Works Foreman. Section 14 sets forth that Section 20 is amended as follows. To reflect the elimination of the Public Works position of Maintenance Worker and to reflect the addition of the Public Works positions of Public Works Maintenance Levels 1, 2, and 3, and the job objective, job functions, education requirements, physical requirements, and reporting responsibility of these positions. Section 15 sets forth that Section 21 is amended as follows: to reflect the elimination of the Public Works position of seasonal maintenance worker, and to reflect the addition of the Public Works position of Public Works Maintenance probationary/seasonal, and the job objective, job function, educational requirements, physical requirements, and reporting responsibility of this position. Section 16 sets forth that Section 22 is amended to reflect the changes to the job objective, job functions, educational requirements, and work environment of the wastewater treatment plant position of operations manager. Section 17 sets forth that Section 23 is amended to reflect the changes to the job objective, job functions, skills, work environment, and safety equipment of the wastewater treatment plant position of city engineer. Section 18 sets forth that Section 24 is amended to reflect the changes to the job functions, education requirements, work environment, and safety equipment of the wastewater treatment plant position of assistant engineer. Section 19 sets forth that Section 25 is amended as follows: to reflect the elimination of the wastewater treatment plant position of collections supervisor/MS4, and to reflect the additions of the wastewater treatment plant positions of project engineer part-time, and engineering intern, and the job objective, job functions, education requirements, work environment, safety equipment, and reporting responsibility of these positions. Section 20 sets forth that Section 26 is amended as follows: to reflect the elimination of the wastewater treatment plant position of sewer maintenance worker, and to reflect the addition of the wastewater treatment plant positions of wastewater foreman, assistant wastewater foreman, and wastewater clerk, and the job objective, job functions, education requirements, work environment, safety equipment, and reporting responsibility of these positions. Section 21 sets forth that Section 27 is amended as follows: to reflect the elimination of the wastewater treatment plant position of seasonal maintenance worker, and to reflect the addition of the wastewater treatment plant positions of wastewater collection technician levels 1, 2, and 3, and wastewater collection technician level 1 part-time, and the job objective, job functions, education requirements, skills, physical requirements, and reporting responsibility of these positions.
Why don't we take a 5-minute break? All right, I got tired of this listening on it. Now, thank you very much for doing that. Before we read the second one here, I just want to make sure for this council, thank you for the feedback. I know we spent some time Tuesday really working on getting some feedback on this, and I appreciate you guys doing that. And again, keep asking questions. We're going to make sure we get all the information, but this has been a long time coming. We're working a long time on this, so thank you for that feedback. I stalled just for a little bit, so you had a little breather. All right.
The
We
next
could?
one's pretty short.
No, it's pretty short. All right. First reading on ordinance 023-011.
Summary of ordinance 023-011, an ordinance related to the hiring of an economic development advisor for the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky. Section 1 authorizes and approves the hiring of an economic development advisor as an independent contractor by means of a personal services contract between the city and the economic development advisor. Section 2 sets forth the education requirements for the economic development advisor. Section 3 sets forth the duties and responsibilities of the economic development advisor. Section 4 sets forth the manner in which the economic development advisor may be terminated. Section 5 sets forth the manner of compensation of the economic development advisor. Section 6 sets forth the manner in which the personal services contract shall be approved. Section 7 sets forth the severability clause. Section 8 sets forth the repeal of inconsistent laws. And Section 9 sets forth an effective date upon passage and publication.
Thank you. All right, so what we have here, obviously, the first two readings, these will be, second readings will be next Monday. And again, if any questions come up, like I said, please feel free to reach out. Questions for me, like I said, before next Monday. We are coming close to the finish line. We've spent a lot of time on this, and I appreciate everybody's work to get this done, because we have a lot in the city we want to get done. So thank you all for getting this done today. Ms. Dozier, thank you for reading that for me. Any questions?
Yeah, you still have to give them a chance to ask, not just ask questions, to make
No, I was gonna
comments,
say,
since
that-
it's a first reading.
Yeah, so if there's any questions, that's what I was gonna say, is there any questions for you?
I had a few here,
Yeah,
and
come
some
in.
of them are just comments.
Yep.
I noticed on page 2 of 48, and I sent I'll give a copy to everyone. I'm okay with changing that human resources director to part-time. My suggestion there is in red, I suggest using an agency that provides qualified HR persons to start with, we might get a very qualified candidate to consider for future full-time employee if that ends up being what we need, and not having to go through necessarily a hiring process to get the part-time person. You know, a lot of these people, professionals, do work for, I guess I'll just call it a temp agency. And they may do here and somewhere else at the same time, so we might get the benefit of some already years of experience, and that's a suggestion.
Yep.
On page 3 of 48, they removed the economic development administrator, and we changed that to contract services. I think that's a much better way of handling that. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yes, sir.
Also on page 3, I think it was, of 48, the Parks and Rec Administration, it's a new full-time position in Public Works. Does anyone, Mayor, do you have any idea when when that position is expected to be filled?
Yep. I'll tell you what, one of the things that this position has been on the budget for what, 3 years, I believe? I think it's been
Yes.
something like that, 3 years? And
On or proposed?
It's been on the budget.
Was it
No, it's been on the
on the
budget at least 2 years, I know.
Okay.
So what I was gonna say, Mike, to answer your question, I think that, yes, I think looking at what we're doing with the park plan, looking at things we're doing with the sports, I think it's coming. I think it's more of just having it planned and ready to go. I think we're probably gonna be talking of it mid-year, I mean, probably at the end of this calendar year.
Around
We're
budget
looking-
time?
Yeah, I'd say probably,
Okay.
maybe, what do you think, Mike? Maybe we'll look at it
I,
December, January, we'll look, because I think then
that's
you're
when
gonna
you'll
see.
know all the money. I
Yep.
mean, what's needed.
Yeah, what's gonna get started, but I think a lot of our sports programs, our youth sports programs, is gonna need some connection with the school
Right.
board and working that out, so we're gonna do that.
Okay.
I wanted to add one thing, Mike, I agree with you on the agency here. It seems like looking at some of the hiring practices, nothing against what we do.
No.
But, you know, I've dealt with HR before.
right.
To find a really good person, that may be a good suggestion that we get an agency, so we'll keep that in mind,
Okay.
all right?
The other thing is, let's see, on page 4 of 48, we combined all the suggestion was to combine all the wastewater and collections tech levels together so that they can do cross-workability, and I think that's a very efficient way of handling that, and I agree wholeheartedly. On page 14 of 48, the code enforcement officer, just looking at that, and again, this is in my opinion, that an awful lot of duties were removed. There was about 2 full pages worth of it, and reduced to about a half a page. So I know there's probably a lot of consolidation there. And I said, I must admit, I didn't have time to read every item, and the same with many other positions. So I just had a concern about everything that was removed, so much removed and reduced to a very little.
Oh, can I
Mike, I'm
comment
sorry.
on that?
Yeah,
Sure.
Absolutely.
It's just to simplify it, he has to do whatever the mayor tells him, but with the new code enforcement that we're getting ready to pass soon, that he's got to do what's in here.
Is that,
This is where we sent you an email for the new ordinance for the, code enforcement.
is that the E-Town version, or?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Well,
said-
no,
yeah.
this is the one that you've already changed for us, right? Except for a few things that we gotta talk about. But yeah, he'll be working off of this, which is much more detailed. It would
All right,
take too much to write a job description based on this.
Yeah, one of the things too on that, Mike, what you'll see is, probably in the next year or so, we're probably gonna need some help there. Cause looking at what
I
we're doing,
agree.
but we're prioritizing what things need to be done first in the city, cause obviously we have a lot of the properties, the dilapidated houses that we see, things like that. We don't have, in our current ordinances, we don't have any bite to that. So part of that job description, again, you know, we'll keep working that. That's probably a moving target for a little bit, cause it's going to be, has to be revised in order for us to make sure we're making improvements
Yeah.
on that in our city. So.
could you print me out a copy of that, Brenda, that, code enforcement proposal?
Yeah,
I'll
Thank you.
have to look in my email.
No, we'll get it for you, Mike.
All right.
We'll put it in your box.
I had a question there from 26 through 28 of the 48 pages. They all reference to a seasonal maintenance worker, all reference to it was removed and replaced with a public works maintenance seasonal / probational employee. And I just wondered, I know we have probation periods for full-time people coming in, and I just wondered how the probation portion of that will apply to seasonal people, which is typically part-time.
Well, when you state that somebody's starting with you, everybody's on probation. So, I mean,
Correct.
again, that's, I think it's just to make sure that it's clarified, because if you didn't put it in there, the verbiage could be misconstrued.
Okay.
So that's the only reason why they put it in there.
I didn't know, because some others had said from
Yeah.
time to time that the, part-time didn't really fall under some
Well,
of this.
it's
That-
like-
That was the
yeah.
past.
Yep. No worries, no worries.
And we had totally removed the collections supervisor / MS4 position. MS4 functions are for the stormwater drainage, so where has that gone? That was moved to Public Works, I think, sometime back. So who is going to be in charge of the surface drainage problem?
That's our public works manager. That's a priority for him, and as far as actually budgeting the kind of projects we're gonna do, this is for him to delegate.
So this will be the Public
Oh,
Works?
yeah, he's the manager that'll take care of that.
Okay.
Yep, yeah, no worries.
And I just had a comment that as looking toward the end of this, I said, we seem to have a lot of proposed engineering positions. We have a city engineer, a project engineer part-time, and an engineering intern part-time. And if we're going to hire and bring on all these engineers for these positions, will we be receiving a reduction in what we spend in outside engineering firms to do stuff?
Yeah, I know a lot of this is very proactive, looking at development of the city. They're gonna see these type of staffing issues coming up. So I think especially the reason why they did that is to have them in place as we evolve. It's kinda like the Parks Rec. We could have
Okay.
taken that out because we haven't used it, but we left it in for that purpose alone. So that's kinda the same attitude that they're doing with these engineers.
Because I know when we brought Arthur on full-time, even QK4 recommended that would be advantageous to us because it would cut a lot of the expense that they did. So that's what I'm saying, so
Absolutely.
I'd just like to know kinda how we're gonna track that and see what this investment, how it pays off for us.
Right.
What you'll see is
I
in the
agree with
budget,
that.
yep, you'll see it in the budgets though. When you see the budgets, we offer you guys to review the budgets, you'll see it.
Okay.
You probably won't see anything in this budget here, but
Right.
as we move into the second budget of this administration, you may see one of those positions filled. You might also see, like I said, the parks, as we mentioned earlier.
Very good.
Okay? Oh, no worries.
That's all my comments.
All right. Bonnie, do you have anything you want to add to this? Everything good?
Everything's good.
All right, Brad, any comments or any questions, anything you could add?
Just a couple of minor things. So
Yeah.
the economic development job classification, that was totally removed.
Yep, so we move.
And then, one other minor thing, on the public works foreman position, are we to assume they have to have all levels below them, like do they have the
The
same
certifications.
qualifications as like the public works level 3, or?
And I believe so, I believe that's right, because I've
Yeah.
been talking
Okay.
to Tom.
All right, because it didn't read that way when I read it, so I just wanted to clarify that. And then, I think those may be the only two little things I had. I think that's all.
And Jennifer, I answered your question, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I just
Okay.
wanted to know if everybody be brought up.
Yep, yep. All right, Mike, I got your question, Ms. Paula?
No, excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike.
No, I stated, I had my issues here, so.
Yep. All right, Ms. Paula, you good?
I'm fine.
All right, with all that said, all the questions answered, we appreciate a few that decided to show up, appreciate that this evening. We'll be back and doing this on the 27th, second reading on these two ordinances we just read, and we have a lot more coming to you. So with that, I get a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second?
You better, Mike, don't fall behind, Mike, it was really close, somebody was gonna get you. All right, roll call on that vote, please. Ms. Brenda?
Ms. Mangus,
Yes.
Ms. Mendez,
Yes.
Ms. Enlow,
Yes.
Mr. Whitaker,
Yes.
Mr. Hibbert,
How could I say no?
right, you said you did.
There you go. Yes.
Well, thank you all, appreciate you.